Hey, I'm Brian Kohn of Kohn Knives. In this video, I'm going to do a recap of what's going on in my shop. Let's get into it. To get us started, this has been kind of an odd couple weeks in my shop. There's been some really good opportunities. Of course, I've been working on some knives, and I've also been working on a really large project that has been really dominating my time in the shop. So to start off, some really cool opportunities is I was contacted a couple weeks ago by a carbon fiber manufacturer, basically asking if I could look at some of their carbon fiber and use it on a couple knives just to see if they are, their carbon fiber is good enough to use in handle material. And basically, to give a little bit of a background story on it, they are a carbon fiber company that basically they do subframes in, auto manufacturing on like super high-end lightweight cars. And they also do tooling for like manufacturing. So, their carbon fiber is more geared towards structural, not necessarily, to look pretty. But, coincidentally, it does look super, super pretty. So basically, I got this conversation going. They asked me if they could send me some free carbon fiber to try on handle material. So, of course, I took that opportunity. Who else? Who's not gonna take like, hey, here's some free material? Want some free material? Yeah, of course, duh. So basically, I sent them my address, and they're like, oh my gosh, you live like 10 minutes down the road. Literally, it takes me 10-15 minutes from that door right there to their manufacturing facility. It's so incredibly close. It's so cool. Like, what are the chances that they happen to be super local like that? So I went over there. I had a really cool conversation with them. They showed me their plant, showed me how they make their carbon fiber, and then they gave me a couple of pieces to try, and they turned out really lovely. Like, the carbon fiber really pops. It polished up really nicely. It's so incredibly sparkly. And then there's this other material that, I really think is something that I haven't seen anywhere else. Where the first type of carbon fiber, it's a forged carbon fiber, a crushed carbon fiber. That's something you see, out in the knife making world. On the other hand, this other type that we're going to try, I think we're going to call it black pearl, because it has this really cool characteristic where in some light it looks super dark because it is a carbon material. Of course it's super dark, but then like it almost looks like one of those reflector jackets where if you get the light just right, it just shines, like it reflects, but just in one polarity. Where like, you can have it right side up and it looks dark, and you turn it upside down and it like reflects all of the light in the room. It's so incredibly cool. It really looks like pearl, but like the shadow version of like a pearl material. It's really cool, and it's something that I haven't seen out in the knife making community. So I'm so excited to basically to further the conversation. I was talking with them, and they also are looking into doing some experimental stuff where they're adding pigments and sparkles into their carbon fiber. So it's really cool to see that they're innovating and trying to make their materials more, pleasing to the eye. And then, this might be going a little bit too far, but they offered me to be their first distributor. So of course, I make knives, so I've never done material distribution or anything like that. But I think that it would be a really good opportunity for me to expand my business because, of course, making knives, I love doing it, and I'm never, there's never going to be a day where I don't have a batch of knives going on. But on the other hand, this could be a really cool opportunity for me to get this material locally, support a nice local business that seem to be all super nice guys, and, maybe make a little bit of extra income on the side that I wouldn't have otherwise, and kind of support myself in a different avenue. So I don't think that this is going to take away from my knife making abilities. Like, I don't think that it's going to slow down my knife making too much, but I think that it's an opportunity for me to supply other people with this really cool carbon fiber. Very excited to look into that prospect. Of course, we're still in the very beginning of these talks, so I don't necessarily want to go too far in detail with, what prices are going to be, but I think we're going to be just a little bit better than everyone else so that you guys can get some really good deals on some great materials. Next, in my shop, of course, I always have a little batch of knives going, and I did a couple test pieces like you saw of this carbon fiber stuff, so those knives are up for sale. If you want them, they are for sale. I'll go ahead and put them on bkohnknives.com. So if you want the knives that I was showing with the carbon fiber stuff, you can get your hands on those 2 knives. But anyways, I am working on a little batch of knives right now. It's not a giant batch, but it is a nice little batch. I've gotten a couple of them finished, and a couple of them I'm still working on, and, of course, everything's going super well, but it's been a little bit slow going because I have one really large project right now that I absolutely have to go nose to the grindstone on because, it needs to be done here in October 15, but not just it needs to be done, the video needs to be done, so I need to have this thing done here in the next week or so my video guy has plenty of time to edit it together like I know he does. And you guys have seen on this channel, Kyle, my videographer, really fantastic videographer. He knows what he's doing and he always makes me look so good. So, of course, you guys probably already know, I'm talking about the Fantasy Challenge, and I am doing a sword from the new Game of Thrones show, House of the Dragon. It happens to be Blackfire, the King's Sword. So this is like the main sword, in the show so far, from what I've seen, it hasn't gotten a lot of action. It stays by the king's side, but it looks so incredible. When I started out on that project, it really was like, I saw some really grainy photos of it from the trailer because when I decided to do this project, I didn't have any high-res photos. So I was going off of, I saw a glimpse of it in a trailer. I stopped the trailer, did a screenshot, blew it up the best I could, and it looked like hot garbage. Like I could not see any detail on this thing to start off. So I was going from a rough profile, and then, the first and second episodes came out and I got a little bit closer detail of it, got to see a couple more dimensions of it so I could actually see what I'm trying to make. And it's been a really interesting way of building something where, it's just you're trying to make it look as close to the show as possible, but, you don't get some really good looks at it until you're already in the process. So there's been a couple different times where I'm like, oh, that's totally different than what I thought it was, and now I have to change my idea and change how I'm making it, because if I make it the way that I was making it, it's not going to look like the show after all. So actually today, I was working on the cross guard, and the cross guard I thought was like this big, thick, chunky thing because it looks like 2 dragons that are both turning up, or I guess turning down towards the tip. But it turns out I saw in this week's episode, I saw a profile view of the sword, and the dragons are actually relatively thin. So they're, for instance, I'm working on this portion of the dragon, and like I have it rough shaped, and you can see that it kind of has the dragon head look, and that, you can see the mouth forming. But the problem is that it's super wide. You can see that the wideness of the face is going to be way wider than what I saw in the profile on the show. So I'm going to have to I don't know if I'm going to have to redo this or I'm just going to thin this thing down to try to get it closer to what it looks like on the show. Because, again, I'm trying to go to accuracy on the show. And, that's the challenges with this type of a thing where, I didn't have a clear roadmap to begin with. I'm just trying to find that path as I'm making it. So that's super interesting. And of course, it's coming up towards Christmas. So if you guys are looking for a handmade knife for Christmas, we're kind of running short on time, honestly. If you want a custom knife, you need to jump on it quick because, I still have to make the knife and it's only a couple months until Christmas season. So we need to jump on it quick. If you guys want a custom knife, the best way to get that is to contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or send me a message in my email at bkohn, BKOHN knives at yahoo.com. That is where you can send me an email, or the best two places to get in contact with me is Messenger on Facebook or Instagram. We'll have a conversation back and forth, and we can get that knife made for you. Right now, if you order it, we can get it before Christmas. If you wait too long, honestly, the time's running short on it. So jump on it quick. The next video you guys will see coming out later this week is the Tyrell collaboration. I did a collaboration knife with Dennis Tyrell. There's some really cool things. It happened to be that, Dennis is such an incredible guy that he basically he made this collaboration happen. He made the steel, he shaped it, he heat treated it and sent it over to me. And then I finished out the knife, and all of it was in the furtherance of the idea of, selling it to get Emily, my girlfriend, soon-to-be fiance, a engagement ring. And Dennis donated his proceeds of the profits to me so that I could buy that ring. And man, it's an incredible story. It's an incredible knife. And you guys should be able to see that here in I think we're going to drop it on Saturday or Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. This video will be coming out just a couple days before that. And also, if you guys like this style where I just sit down and talk to you guys about, what my week is entailing, maybe I'll do this once a month. Maybe I'll do it every other week. I saw Brian House do this, so, I had to try this style. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys all for watching. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun thing. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.